Hey, honey,
Yes, Barry?
let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Fascina el viento, este ritmo de palmas, sin ti naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.
Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I'm your host, Barry Kessler. I'm just so happy to be introducing you to my favorite vacation destination. Maybe it's even yours, and that's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. The music you're listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Alberto is the owner of the Lapa Lapa group of restaurants. Those are the Lapa Lapa, Puerto Vallarta's oldest restaurant on the famous Los Muertos beach, and the El Dorado Restaurant and Beach Club right next door. So you can enjoy that fantastic view of the Los Muertos Pier, all lit up at night in beautiful colors, or during the day in its grand splendor for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, seated with your toes in the sand right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. This week we're going to be getting out of town. We're going to be heading to Yelapa down in Cabo Corrientes. Yelapa is a beach. It's a village. It is south of Puerto Vallarta on the Bahia de Banderas. I'll be telling you how you can get there, what you should bring along with you, places to visit while you're there, and what to expect. You will also meet my new friend, Tovar Chavarin. He is the owner of a restaurant and bar right on the beach there in Yelapa. It's called Fanny's Restaurant and Bar. And he's going to tell you about the town. I hiked through the village. We're going to talk a little bit about that. There was a cute museum. We're going to visit there too. And but before we get to that adventure, let's see what's happening this week in Puerto Vallarta, the 5th of October, 2020. Cruise ships will not be returning in November and December, as I talked about last week. The CDC has come on in and put a kibosh, or whatever you want to call it, on the cruise industry, setting them all back for a couple of months. And that means that arrivals into Puerto Vallarta will be set back as well. As I said last week, plans had been made to resume cruise ship travel, with Princess and Norwegian both saying that they were going to be going for it the middle of November, but not so fast, says the health agency. Unless you're cruising out of Miami or Port Canaveral, you will not be cruising until next year, evidently. And if you are sailing out of Florida, chances are you pretty much not going to be heading towards Puerto Vallarta anyway. So we'll be looking for the next set of announcements to come up in the next couple of months or the next couple of weeks or whatever, I guess. And I'll put off my episode about Puerto Mágico with Dean Rager just for a little while until we find out what's happening with that. And however, I must tell you that the magic market, Puerto Mágico, is growing and it is going strong. And it is still happening every Friday evening from 4 o'clock until 9 o'clock. And this week, the Gecko Band will be there wailing away. So make sure you get on over there and have some fun, listen to the band, eat some chocolate. Good times. I'll have a map in the show notes. If you have ever hiked up to the cross, you know that hill that overlooks Puerto Vallarta, Mirador de la Cruz, you have noticed that as you get closer to the top, in this you get to this little Stairmaster thing, at the bottom of there is this pulley system, tracks, this big metal thing going on there. And someone once told me that they were actually planning on doing a cable car, kind of like Disneyland style, that would travel from the Malecon all the way up to the cross. So it does look like, according to this article here, that they do plan to have a cable car begin its ascent at the Rosita Hotel. And then it will, that whole thing that we were talking about last week, where they're going to be doing that 1 kilometer extension of the Malecon from the Rosita Hotel up to the Sheraton Hotel. Anyway, this plan has a little bit something to do with that. The cable car is going to go up over the city, beginning right there over at the Rosita Hotel, and it'll go up to the cross, and then it'll go across all the way to Ampas. So across town, up over, sounds like over the Romantic Zone, and then back to the Rosita. So anyway, plans were announced by Mayor Davalos Peña. He made his last State of the City report last week, and he's finishing up his last year of his second term as mayor of Puerto Vallarta. He's been a pretty good mayor so far. And anyway, he was laying out the plans and his dreams and desires for the future of Puerto Vallarta. And he mentioned that cable car project is actually going to be built with private funds, so no city dinero will be going into that. So, hey, what the heck? What do you know, Puerto Vallarta? Everybody says it's like turning into Disneyland, and I guess it really is. I wonder if I'll live long enough to see that. We'll see. It's being done with private funds. Why not? Anyway, I have links to an article about that in the show notes. You can check that out if you like. Now, Enrique Alfaro, the governor of the state of Jalisco, is warning another quarantine in Jalisco if measures are not taken care of, he says. Now, I received this message from Salvador Estrada, the candy man on the Malecon, the marathon man in the wheelchair. And he sent me this article about the Jalisco governor, Alfaro, threatening to push that panic button and shut down the economy for another 14 days. People just don't shape up and stop spreading the Rona. Seems hospitalizations and deaths are down, but the case count is increasing. Sound familiar? Here's the article from Vallarta Pina Online. Here it goes. Governor of Jalisco, Enrique Alfaro Ramirez, warned this Friday that there is still the possibility of pressing the emergency button, which, in his own words, means stopping everything in its tracks if health protection measures continue to relax. This after admitting that despite the fact that hospital occupancy is decreasing, the number of infections by COVID-19 is growing in Jalisco, especially among the young people who believe that it will not give them, or get them, I guess, and in the context of reactivation of nightlife. If the numbers continue to rise, we're going to be at risk and in need of applying what we have called the emergency button, and we are going to have to stop again, said the governor. He also criticized that having been on a tour of several municipalities in the interior of the state, among them Puerto Vallarta, he observed a general relaxation of the measures, something that he regretted and urged to reverse. The red button is an emergency protocol that would stop all non-essential activities and public mobility for 14 days in order to stop the chain of infections. In other words, it would be another confinement. And I have an article. I have a link to that article, and you can find them in the show notes at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com, of course. And so what do you think? What do you think about that? I'll tell you that, like I said before, it is not going to happen. He is not going to do it. Make sure you wear your mask, for sure. If you're visiting Puerto Vallarta, get down there. If you are down there, set a good example. Wear a mask. Do as you are asked to do as a tourist and a good citizen of wherever you're from. But take my word for it, Alfaro will not close the tourist business down again. Trust me. Now, with that said, if you think that Alfaro is a tough cookie, the governor of Nayarit, Antonio Echeverria Garcia, he's a tougher cookie. He still won't allow you to sit on the beach. The sand at the beach will get you. They're still closed in the state of Nayarit. Now we're talking about Nuevo Vallarta, and of course, not long ago, we talked about the fact that you couldn't drink over their Independence Day celebrations. You can now, so don't worry about it. You can still go to beach restaurants; they're still open. You can sit in them, but you can't sit on the beaches. It's just the way it is. We just have to wait and see how they progress in Puerto Vallarta. But you can, like I say, now you can drink because Independence Day is over. So go ahead and get drunk and just pretend you're sitting on the beach, I guess. Now, with that said, there is another article here from Vallarta Opina Online, and it's about the return of Canadian and U.S. tourism to Mexico, and in particular to Puerto Vallarta. It reads, Americans and Canadians are coming to visit Puerto Vallarta. Since the reopening of Puerto Vallarta, its public spaces and recreational and entertainment centers, national tourism has not stopped coming to the city, eager to consume good gastronomy and enjoy beaches and parties or simply relax. However, the strong market for everyone in the Bay is and always has been overseas, which is 99% American Canadian. These have not yet returned in massive quantities to the port, and their arrival is already highly requested by all who, even before the pandemic, were used to making cash cuts by counting green bills. Now, I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Boy, that just translated weird. Anyway, the good news is that a winter is predicted with the return of this sector as conditions are already accommodating it to allow it. First, insurers are already beginning to cover medical expenses in case of contracting COVID-19 abroad for Canadians, which will greatly motivate the return to the Mexican Pacific. It was the news that Air Canada gave last week that it would apply medical insurance for up to 200,000 Canadian dollars at no additional cost to its passengers in case of illness, which caused positive expectations. Yeah, we read about that a couple weeks ago, actually. As for the Americans, the Federal Secretary of Tourism, Miguel Torruco, announced today at a press conference from Mexico City that he has negotiated with the U.S. authorities the ability of the necessary conditions for the return of mass tourism to the Mexican destinations in the Caribbean, the Gulf, and the Pacific. In particular, for the cruise industry, a protocol was agreed upon in conjunction with the Florida and Caribbean Cruise Association for Safe Travel in Health Matters, which is already being prepared to be executed. In addition, the Mexican official revealed that U.S. health authorities informed Mexico of their intention to lower the health alert on U.S. territory from 4 to 3, which will further motivate its citizens to travel. In the end, another important factor will be that, according to the most recent market studies on tourism, Canadians and Americans will not be willing to vacation in a very remote destination to guarantee their safety and return home in case of a contingency. So they will not be buying tickets to a city at a distance greater than 4 hours away. This time is exactly what any Canadian does on a flight from his country to Puerto Vallarta, while most cities in the United States are less than 3 hours from the coast of Jalisco. And I have a link to that article in the show notes. That's right. It's just a little bit less than 3 hours to fly from L.A. to Puerto Vallarta. So there you have it. All right. I think we should pretty much get to the interviews, shouldn't we? Yeah, let's do it. Now, Yelapa is about 15 miles southwest of Puerto Vallarta as far as the crow flies. It's a village. It's a beach, and it's got a river that runs through it. And like all the little beach villages along the Bahia de Banderas, south of Puerto Vallarta, Yelapa is built around the river that runs through the town. And the one that runs through Yelapa is called the El Tuito River, which originates, you guessed it, it originates in El Tuito. And it comes running through Yelapa, actually down a series of of cascades, waterfalls, and during the rainy season, it really goes to town. I've got some great pictures of the waterfall, one of the waterfalls over in Yelapa, and you can find them in the show notes over at www.puertovallartravelshow.com. Now, the word Yelapa means a place of gathering or where two rivers meet. This is an Indian derivation of the name. And the El Tuito River and another tributary cross each other when they arrive in Yelapa. Now, currently, there are about 1,500 inhabitants living in Yelapa, and people have been living there for centuries. We know that because there are artifacts that have been dug up around Yelapa, and at the museum, where we will actually stop by and visit during this episode, you can find some of these artifacts. The current inhabitants are actually descendants of about 4 families who made their way down the mountain from the village of Chacala, and this happened many, many, many moons ago. Now, Chacala is just 13 kilometers above Yelapa. You can get there on a windy dirt road. And today, actually, the town of Chacala, which has a population of about 1,000, and the village of Yelapa, both these two towns are actually tied together very closely, and they're governed by the same governmental council. Now, electricity and phones are actually a fairly new thing in Yelapa. They arrived in 2001. And as far as their water delivery system, it is extremely primitive. It is basically impromptu pipes that are bringing water from springs and from the rivers into people's homes. Now, there's no sewer system, so everybody is on septic tanks, interestingly enough. It's been told that Yelapa and the surrounding area was discovered by a cousin of Hernan Cortez, the conqueror, the great conquistador, who famous for the conquest of Mexico City and of Montezuma. His name was Francisco Cortez, and he came through El Tuito, and he was greeted by the natives, who were all dressed up in their finest feathered headgear. And they welcomed the conquistadors with open arms, and they encouraged them to put down their arms and to celebrate in peace and just to hang out and party. So I'm guessing that drugs and alcohol were involved here. A big party ensued. And then, it's told that after the fun and games, well, Cortez and his whole gang, they left with huge hangovers from all that raicilla that they were drinking and all that bad weed they were smoking. But yeah, recorded history actually shows that Frank Cortez left Yelapa without putting up a fuss. So now you're saying, is it hard? Is it difficult to get to Yelapa? What do I need to bring? Well, first of all, leave the army at home. You don't need to be a conquistador. You don't need to be a famous explorer to get there. It's really actually quite easy. You're going to need a day pack. Bring a bathing suit or wear a bathing suit underneath your clothes. You're going to need some sunscreen. Bug repellent isn't a bad idea. Sunglasses, of course, a hat. Bring pesos, bring cash, bring enough pesos for the pangas. You're going to need food and alcohol and weed and pie and souvenirs, and maybe you're going to take a horseback ride, or maybe you're going to have to pay a guide if you want to. You're going to need that kind of money. So bring plenty of cash, because you're not going to find any ATM machines over there. Now, you're going to need walking shoes, comfortable walking shoes, or sandals, as long as they're comfortable, that you can hike in. The first waterfall is an easy hike. You can do it in sandals. You don't need to wear any special shoes for that. Now, bring a pair of long pants for horseback riding if you're going to be hopping on a horse, right? If that's your thing. because they do have those, and you can hop on one and take a ride up to the waterfalls. Now, bring a little bit of water for drinking. Bring a beach towel for sure. And if you happen to be one who manages to get seasick, bring some Dramamine or Bonine or whatever it is that you take, whatever kind of medicine you take for that, and make sure that you take it an hour before you get onto a panga. So if you are going to be going down to Boca de Tomatlan via bus, pop yourself one of those pills before you hop on the bus, and that way when you get on the boat, you won't need to worry about it. You won't. A lot of people, they take this stuff when they start to feel sick, and by that time it's too late. So take it early if you're sensitive in that way. Now, you're going to need to be able to get in and out of a panga, being able to step from the water into the boat or from the boat into the water, right? So stepping off a panga, it does take a little bit of effort. It is shallow water. You're not going to drown there, right? But that's why you're going to want to have sandals, something that you can take on and off your feet really easily to get in and out of the boat. And of course, that day pack for hiking is really, really important to hold all that stuff. So make sure you have all that. That's really what you're going to need. I'm going to have this list in the show notes if you weren't able to write any of that stuff down. Now, so how do you get to Yelapa from Puerto Vallarta, you might ask? Well, there's a bunch of ways you can do it. The really lazy way to do it is just to wake up, roll out of bed, go down to the Los Muertos Pier, and take a panga. From there, you take a colectivo, which means that you're on a large panga with about 45 passengers on it, and the trip's going to take approximately 45 minutes, and it costs about 200 pesos, I think, about $10 each way. Now, you could also take a bus down to Boca de Tomatlan, which is about a 25-minute ride from the romantic zone. Of course, you catch that bus over on Constitucion and Basilio Badillo. It's a 10 peso ride, and it'll take you right down to, it passes Mismaloya, and then it turns around over at Boca de Tomatlan. Now, you hop on on a panga colectivo, you go over and you find the pier over at Boca de Tomatlan, and for about 100 pesos from the pier, you will ride about 30 minutes to Yelapa. Now, that all depends on if they're going to be stopping at any of the other beaches along the way, but that's about what you can figure price-wise, and you can figure that out, of course, time-wise. Now, you can always take a party boat. You can always take a party boat out of Puerto Mágico, right, for the day. A lot of people do that. They do the Yelapa or Los Animas, or they'll take a Vallarta adventure tour, whatever it is. But anyway, these tours, they include usually like a tiny breakfast, booze all day long, lunch, and a swim, and a stay at the beach for the afternoon. Those are the ways that you can get to Yelapa. Now, actually, that party boat thing, that was what I did when I first came to Puerto Vallarta back in 1985. We took the Yelapa Princess, a whole group of tourists just like us. Now, the other way is to take a private panga, which is what I did. Now, I reserved Mario, Super Mario, for the day, and he gave me a tour. And what happens when you take a private panga is it's unrushed, and you do whatever you want to do. What we did was we went along the shore, passed all the beaches along the way, and we stopped and took a few pictures at some of the beaches. And I have a lot of those pictures actually in the show notes. And of course, you can find them, you know where, at PuertoVallartaTravelShow.com. And of course, if you want to hire Super Mario for the day, I have his information in the show notes as well. And we also did a podcast episode with Super Mario. So if you didn't catch that one, just look for it. You'll find it. Taking a panga ride, your own private panga guy. Now, he does fishing and all this other stuff, but for me, we were just taking the tour, and he was being my guide, which was really great. He took me past Playa Colamitos, and our favorite Ocean Live Love Grill, which, by the way, just opened up on October the 1st. So if you want to get out there, beautiful, beautiful, just the most beautiful view and great food, of course. Make reservations, okay, if you're going to go there. Then we went past Playa Las Animas and Mahuitas and Las Caletas and Camixto and so on. And he took me, really close to these places. He took me into some beautiful coves. We saw some beautiful private beaches. So these are places that he could actually drop you off and, leave you to be deserted for a little while. You know what I mean? Really, really pretty cool. And of course, he offered to stop wherever I wanted to stop, which is the beauty. It's the beauty of hiring a private panga guy. You can take your time, you can stop. Whereas, the collectivos, it's all fast. It's way over there and back. That's how it's done that way. It's quick and dirty. So it's definitely cheaper by a long shot, believe me. But you won't get that personal service and your own tour guide, and any of those. You won't be able to see any of those really neat little private beaches. It's just, that's the beauty of taking your own panga guy. Now, when we arrived in Yelapa, Mario dropped me off, and then he directed me to go up over to Fanny's restaurant and bar, where I grabbed a table and I waited for Mario to tie up his panga out with the others. And then he got a lift back to the beach with another panga guy. They got this cool little system worked out. Everybody helps each other. So anyway, I asked Mario who I should talk with, and he suggested that I talk with Tovar. Now, Tovar Chavarin, he goes by the nickname of Romeo. I didn't ask, okay. I don't know, maybe I should have, but that was definitely an opportunity miss. What can I tell you? Sometimes I just don't get a chance to ask the right questions. What I didn't miss was the man behind Fanny's. That doesn't sound right. What I didn't miss was the genuine story of redemption, Tovar's story. You're going to be hearing about how Tovar turned his life around, how he earned the trust of a very kind soul, and how he now runs a successful beachfront restaurant, seafood restaurant and bar, right there in the beautiful town of Yelapa. So let's go right now. Let's go to a table under a palapa on the beach where Frank Cortez was once purported to have laid down his arms and enjoyed a coldie and a spleef with the natives. Let's meet Tovar Chavarin, Romeo at Fanny's Restaurant and Bar, Yelapa, Cabo Corrientes, Mexico. Romeo, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're very welcome. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Are you from Yelapa?
I born and raised in Yelapa.
Really? Okay. Mm-hmm. And so we are sitting in your restaurant.
Yeah, this is Fanny's restaurant. Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about Fanny's. How long has Fanny's been here?
Fanny's been here about 35 years.
Oh, so you just started.
Years.
You just started, huh?
I'm
35.
just starting, but I used to be a worker here. I used to be a waiter.
Oh, really?
Really.
And then after a little period of time, you decided you'd go ahead and buy the place, or what happened there?
No, we make a contract, me and the owner.
Uh-huh.
She invited to me to start with his business.
Okay.
Because I used to work with her about 15 years.
Okay, so she knew you, and she knew you were responsible, and you were going to do a good job here.
I hope, because before I was drink a lot, but then I stopped drinking. Got like 15 years drinking alcohol.
Excellent. Look at you. All right. Excelente.
Yeah, I don't even know I'm going to be in charge of a business like this,
Wow. All
with
right.
my family, with my child and my wife, and this is a family business now.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you got all your kids working here. Your wife works here.
Everyone, yep.
So this is totally a family-run thing.
Exactly.
All right,
yep.
so tell us about your menu. What is on your menu that that you serve here?
This one of the plates normal here at Yelapa is the seafood, like lobster, mahi-mahi, snapper, shrimps, river crayfish, octopus, and sarandeado, you know.
So you do the sarandeado.
Sarandeado, yeah, the snapper sarandeado.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, so when you prepare the snapper sarandeado, how do you do that?
We cut it in half, put it in the grill, and we put the special sauce with the achote sauce.
Excellent.
That's make the flavor feel very tasty.
Excellent, excellent. And then that's that's something that a whole family might sit down and share.
Yep. One of my aunts teaches how to prepare the sauce.
Really? I mean, right here, there's like a class to do that?
Yeah, she live here, but she have a store in town. But she related, is a sister of my mama.
Tell me the name of her store.
Leticia's, Sarai store. It's by at the way to the Waterfall. It's a grocery store.
Okay.
The most popular and bigger in Yelapa.
Okay, so this is it's called?
Sarai, Abarrote Sarai. And she's name is Leticia.
Leticia. Okay, So this is, talk about, you kind of like own half the town, it sounds like to me. This is pretty cool.
Well, I born and raised here, and I see lots of changes. When I born, it was only 3 palapas, 3 houses.
Really?
We live from coconut and gum. Coco y aceite, coconut and gum from the trees.
Uh-huh.
It's,
So that was your subsistence.
Exactly. Yep. And then we eat the wild pork, deer, and we call like a rooster from the jungle. It's like a rooster, but it's a wild animal from the hill.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what we eat. Before
you would sail in and out. Now nowadays, you're in and out with pangas and all the supplies come to you pretty easily. Huh?
Yeah, because before we have to go by donkey and by mule.
Really?
Really. Now it's much easy because you take the water taxi. We all have on boats, and we can go out in 20 minutes. But before, takes days. And when I was born, we got canoes. We go by canoe to sell moonshine, raicilla. It's illegal in that year, so we take the canoe all the way to La Peñita. It take like 3 days to get there, day and a half.
Where's La Peñita?
La Peñita is by Nayarit.
Okay.
And
oh, wow.
We have a beach. We go straight by La Cruz. We go by canoe. We paddle all the way with
3 days?
We sailing, and paddle. Paddle.
Uh-huh.
Most of the people know how to do the paddle now. I know, because I used to do that.
Yeah.
Most of the people, you give them a paddle and a canoe, they don't even know how to do it. But in that time, you have to know everything, to move.
So you're in these canoes. What was the current like? Did you get pushed around by the currents in these canoes?
Yeah, we need the current and we need the wind.
Uh-huh.
The guys, the old people, they know when the wind is perfect to start to go. And they take that time to go.
Uh-huh.
They put the sailing,
and off they go. So they turn a canoe into a sailboat.
Yeah, because we don't have motors in that years. People very poor.
Yeah.
You see lobster all the way here. You see fish and nobody care. Because, like few people. Few community with a small town. We don't even know it's going to grow this big.
Of course.
Yeah, but now you see like some buildings. Like different 9 restaurants. Have only one in that year. So only one restaurant, Lagunita Hotel, there at the end.
So now there's 9.
9 restaurants.
All right. So, but we only really need to know about Fanny's, and and Fanny's. All you have to do is kind of look at the tops of all of these palapas, and they have a sign, so you'll know which one is which.
Exactly.
Let's go back to the old days. You said there were only like 3 families living here. When people started arriving here, were they welcomed in? How did that go?
Well, there's Garcias and Lorenzos in that years. Lorenzo and Rodriguez, 3 families.
Uh-huh.
And then, they grow more people, and people get here from different places. And They come here and live here and get land. Before our fathers are run, the family before they don't think about the future.
Yeah.
So there's about 3 families that get all the
They bought up all the land.
all the land.
Ah, wow, interesting.
I'm lucky because my father get all the piece of land in front is ours now. We don't sell it yet. My mother trying to, he got somebody that want to buy it, but we're not ready to sell that because we grow more family. We don't know what's going to happen. You have to have something for our child.
You got to have something. Exactly right.
Exactly.
I'm a realtor. I know. You got to have some land, brother.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right. So when you see a lot of people come here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you get people off the boats. Most of them are all happy and stuff like that, and they do a little drinking. You get any funny things happen when people are getting a little bit too happy?
Yeah, sometimes, it's hard for us to put them back to the boat, and sometimes we make a party. We get the speakers and put the fiesta here, the party. Yeah, and that's the way we do it, and we are happy to have those people really, really happy.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I get here, eat and drink, and I ask for, have you got music speaker? So I have like 5 or 6 speakers inside. I have to run the music. I used to be a DJ. My father, he have to have cantina. He used to have a cantina for drunk people. So I don't even know one day I'm gonna feel to have a corona. I'm very small when I I take care of them. We call here in Mexico borrachos. They're drunk people.
Yeah.
So I don't even know I'm gonna be a borracho one day.
Yeah.
I see those guys cry and loud, and I say, "What's motherfucker think about drinking?" But then I get curious, and one day I drink my first beer. Make me very crazy. And don't even know what's gonna happen with me. And then 30 years drinking alcohol, and then I stop. And then I start to be the owner, to be in charge of Domingos. And then at Domingos, the contract finished. And then I said, this is it for me. But then one of the sons of the owner of the land of this place invited to me and say, don't worry, I got a job for you. I'm going to stay with my business. So I almost have 5 years here. And I was worried what's going to happen with Fanny's. And then I speak with the lady, to the owner, say, don't worry. You have your life. Your work is completely safe. I'm going to open another paper. We're going to sign it for another 5 years. So in February 4, I'm done with 5 years here at Fanny's. But then I'm going to start another 5.
So you're re-upping.
And I'm thinking one of these days, the lady is going to be ready to sell the land. And he say, if something happen like that, you're going to be the first one. They're going to ask for if you're interested about the business. So for now, we don't know what's going to happen. But what is sure, if I don't die and we're still here, then we're going to start back again.
Excellent.
I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah.
And this is what I like to do, This is my job. This is what I do. I don't even know what I said. One day I got to be in charge of one of this business because I used to be a waiter for about 40 years. 8 years is my age when I first get here to the beach. I don't even know one day going to be speaking with the tourists or with the gringos. That's the way we speak here.
Yeah.
And now, I'm happy to be here and give job to most of the families. We have about 4, 5, 6 people that are not family but friends, and we give them a job. I'm thinking always about the crew, about the people who work with me, not just me.
Yeah.
You have to think about the people who work with you.
That's right.
And I'm happy to have the people that go happy to have the seafood with us, Sometimes I fight to have the crayfish and fresh lobster and the snapper and mahi-mahi because people like it, We make a big tray. There's the seafood platter. They have the lobster, the snapper, the mahi-mahi, the octopus, the crab, and the beans and the vegetables and rice. People like it, and we are very happy to have it.
And that's the mariscada.
Mariscada, exactly.
Yeah, big plate, and you want a big table full of people to eat that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have sometimes big crew, like 19, 18 people to come and put 4 or 5 tables together, and they always ask for music. So I have a big boom box in the back, and I put them the music. Sometimes I play, sometimes they want to do it, so I let them to do it. Then when the people is happy, I'm happy too,
Yeah.
And when we have a little trouble with the people, I'm not fucking happy, because I need the people go and smile and say, "Be back to Fanny's." That's the most important thing I really like.
Yeah.
When the people are happy, when they said, "Thank you, Romeo, for your job, and thanks for everybody," and blah 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 blah. That's what make me to sleep well, to be ready another day to start work back again. With this morning brooming the whole beach, because I want to see my beach clean, and I want to see bathroom very clean and everything. That's the way you see me the whole day brooming the bathroom, cleaning everything inside. I want the bathroom are perfect every day, because you have to go and see a place very clean. That's the way the clients like to go.
Exactly. That's what they're looking for. They're looking they're looking for something clean. They're looking for a place that's safe.
Yeah. One day there's a American guy come here to Fanny's, and the only word he knows is "respete su cliente." Respect your client. It's the only word he knows in Spanish. "Respete su cliente." Respect your client. So one day I was sitting and say, "Well, this guy, he's right. We have to respect the cliente, And that's what we do, with kids. My wife, one of the things very important for me, because she cooks well, and she teach most the women to cook what we cook here, what we serve. Yeah.
Excellent.
We used to have a chef, but most of the clients say, we want the women to put the flavor. Because when the women do something they really like to do, they put, a flavor with the hands, they're happy to do what they have to do. So I think it's the best way.
Cool.
To be, happy to do what you like to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And I'm here every day, because people like to see me sometimes.
It's important for the owner to be at the restaurant.
Yeah.
It's something that you don't, if you see it, you know that the restaurant is doing well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And you feel.
Well, people come to see you.
Very proud.
Romeo. People come to see you, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why.
Yep.
All right, let's go away from Fanny's just for a minute. Let's go out into Yelapa for a few minutes, okay?
Uh-huh.
Somebody comes here, they get dropped off by a panga or a water taxi, whatever, and they come and they sit here and they have something to eat, maybe a little something to drink. What's the next thing they should do when they're in Yelapa?
Well, the next thing they do is take the horseback rider, or take the horses to the waterfall, and sometimes they do a little hike. Huh? And sometimes they do the JB, how do you say?
Like a motorcycle? Or
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The ATV.
Oh,
yeah.
ATV.
The ATV, yeah. They do the ATV.
Oh, so they have ATVs and horses.
And horses, yeah.
Okay. How does that mix? Is that okay? The horses are okay with the ATVs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now
I guess they are.
They are now, but before they get scared.
Yeah,
the
sure.
Horses,
Yeah.
But now
they're used to
it's
it.
normal.
Yeah.
They used to. Yeah. Horseback riding is about half an hour each way.
Okay.
Half an hour there, half an hour back. ABG is like maybe 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes.
Okay.
It's 20 minutes run trip.
Right.
And
Or if you're going to walk, what happens then?
25 minutes.
25 minutes.
25 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because sometimes people like to go and see the little town, grocery stores. There's some people that sell up there.
Talk to me about the town. What's Yelapa like? What's the town of Yelapa like?
Well, the people there about Yelapa is about 3,500 people.
Really?
Yeah. As soon as you get in town, you see the old kindergarten, you see the grocery stores, and then you see the church. That's very interesting. The church is very, very nice of Yelapa. And then you see the hardwood.
Mm-hmm.
What they sell, lots of things there in the hardwood. And then you walk all the way up and see the rosewood. The rosewood. They make salad bowls, rolling pins. They sell lots of stuff there. And they sell moonshine there too.
Ah, so you can pick up your raicilla there.
Raicilla,
huh?
yeah.
So they sell it right out of the bottle. You have to bring your own bottle.
No, they sell you, but right out of the bottle. They're ready. I'll sign up.
Uh-huh.
They're ready.
Is it fairly inexpensive to buy raicilla here?
About 400 pesos
for a bottle.
For a bottle.
Yeah.
But it's no chemicals. It's wonderful. You have a little trouble about something happened in your life, you forget for a moment and fiesta, and then You are very, very happy.
And then it all bounces back about a day later.
Yep, exactly.
In the old days, you used to have to bring your own bottle and a cork, right? And then they would go ahead and fill it for you, and then you'd cork it, and off you would go, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Wow. All right. So that's 400 pesos. That's a little under $20 US.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's for this kind of moonshine, it's worth every penny.
Yep.
Believe me. It's right from the source.
Yep.
All right. So you've got the moonshine. You've got some little tiendas. You've got that walk up to the waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you can share with us?
Yeah. After you hike from the wood, then you go to the waterfall, and there's a little pool for swim, and there's a place for buy little souvenirs to take back to any family you have in the States, a little gift.
Right.
A little presento.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you buy a little stuff. There are about 10 vendors up there, and there's a little restaurant up there too for snack and beer by the water.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So there's stuff to do at the waterfall.
Up the waterfall. Yeah.
Okay. And anything else in town that they need to see? Anything that they should not miss?
After they go to the town, sometimes people don't want to go to this waterfall. They walk all the way up at the river. There's another waterfall up the river.
Oh, so there's two. So this is just this is the second of okay.
Yeah, the other big one is up at the river. Uh-huh. It's about 2 hours each way.
Okay, so that's a schlep. Mm-hmm. Now you can take a horse all the way there also?
Yep. Yeah, but up there is no town, only the little town about 10 minutes, and after that is all wood, all birds, macaw. You hear only the birds all the way up.
And they don't have the fancy restaurants up there or anything like that.
Really.
It's all natural,
exactly.
nature.
There's a place for having drink, a soda, water, beer, margarita, piña, and the way before you get to the jungle.
Some guy standing at a stand.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have a place where you can relax there and get drunk, whatever. Uh-huh. But most of the time, we want the people get back here to Fanny's to spend,
Right. So, don't get drunk and make sure you come back after you've eaten and come back and have some more before you hop on a boat and go back into Puerto Vallarta. Yep. All right. What about hotels? Are there hotels here?
Yep. We have few little accommodation like Garcia's, Hotel Garcia's, Miramar, Verana up in the hill. You see those buildings all the way there. It's Verana Resort. And Lagunita is not working now, but there's Casa Sol, Miramar. You have lax accommodation for many, many people. do
you find a lot more people are adventuring out to Yelapa to stay here, to actually, people, they go to Vallarta, they're there for the entire time, they just come here for just a little while. Are you finding more people coming here and staying here and spending more time here?
Yep. Yeah. Most of the time, the people find on the internet, they find the way to get to Yelapa and the way to stay here and find a hotel. And sometimes they just come straight to us here, and we give them the information. And I go myself with them, helping with the stuff, and put it on the room. Uh-huh. And I have my phones to speak to somebody to just wait for them and stay straight to the office. And then 3 days, they incredible time, Romeo. Thank you very much. And, and that's the way. When you do things straight, everything at the end is straight.
It all works out. It all works out. That's the way it should be.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, so we got hotels, so people can stay here. Now, we came here with Mario, and we hired Mario to take us here. But you can take a water taxi. And how much are water taxis to Yelapa?
100 pesos. 200 pesos round trip from Boca.
Okay, so $10.
From Vallarta.
$5 each way. From Vallarta.
You can come from the old town, from Los Muertos, because you like it, 150, 300 pesos.
And that's by the water taxi, right?
By the water taxi.
So if you really want to get a view of not just Vallarta from the sea, because you could see Vallarta from the sea when you do that, but the entire coastline. So that's not a bad way to go. For an extra couple of bucks, you can go ahead and just go down to the Los Muertos Pier and hop on, and there you go, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, cool. If you, I'm going to ask you a couple questions about Vallarta. Well, let's just say about vacationing, coming here. If you had a word of advice for a first-time traveler coming to Puerto Vallarta, besides coming to Yelapa and coming to Fanny's? Romeo, what would you tell them? What kind of advice would you give a first-time visitor here?
First things I think is when I get the people, when I meet them, they say very carefully when you get out of the boat, sometimes they fall, and watch your stuff. Watch your stuff. And when you get here, be sure to be in the shade. In the shade.
In the shade.
In the shade.
Important, right?
Very important.
I mean, don't be grabbing a chair out in the sun thinking you're going to get a suntan.
Exactly. There you go.
All right. I mean, you can, right? You can get that chair, but make sure you got someplace in the shade just in case.
Yeah,
right?
just in case. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the tropical sun, right? It's the tropical heat, and you can turn into a lobster pretty quick.
Exactly. Very, very stronger now.
Yeah.
We go there 1 second and then run to the shade.
Yeah. See, All right. Even Mexicans do that. You guys, listen up. Come on, seriously.
Yeah.
What do you think is the future of this place, of Yelapa?
Well, I don't even know what's going to be the future, but believe me, we still are very, very peaceful and quiet. We don't have any trouble yet here in this town. I hear lots of things happen in other places, but here, I'm lucky that we are pretty good. We don't have any trouble. No, we live good. We are very quiet. No problema, no problem. And Yelapa, for people that want to come here, for me, I think it's pretty safe to come here to Yelapa.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. So, how do people find you? Do you have like a Facebook page? You got like a website? You got anything like that going on?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Okay.
And sometimes we give them we have little cards.
Okay.
Little cards and numbers, and people find us here. Very easy.
All right. Well, they'll find you even easier because I'm going to have you on my website, and you can find that, of course, at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com, and just look at my Yelapa blog, and you will find Romeo, his smiling face, and you will see Fanny's, and I'll have pictures of Fanny's. I'll get pictures of the kitchen. I don't know if I'll take pictures of his clean bathroom, but you just remember that his bathroom is clean. Okay, make sure that you go and check that out, and his food is delicious. I can attest to that. Romeo, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing your place and your voice with my listeners. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you very much for coming here to Fanny's, and I hope this is not going to be the first time. I think you guys are going to get back again.
You bet we will, and you'll see a lot of my listeners too.
Okay,
Romeo, thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Romeo. I have pictures. I have all kinds of great things in the show notes. Now, from there, after we had something to eat, we took a little hike. We hiked up to the first waterfall, which, as I said before, is an easy hike. And it is a good-sized waterfall, and it's got a nice-sized pool. I had a talk with some of the folks that lived right next to the waterfall. They weren't all set up selling anything, but they were there nonetheless. I got some pictures of Mario taking a bath in the waterfall, and then we walked around town just a bit, visited a few people, and managed to work our way over to the museum. They've got a little museum there, and inside the museum, not only do they have these artifacts, but they also have a little area there where kids can play and learn, which is pretty cool. Obviously, a little learning center for the local children in Yelapa. And I had a great conversation with the lady there, the gal in charge there. Her name is Nanji. And, well, you know what? Let's go right now and let's hear a little bit about what's happening at the museum in Yelapa from Nanji. Nanji, thanks for coming on the show. How are you today?
Good, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about this place that we're in right now.
This is the Museum of Yelapa, and we have Yelapa photos, like 1960s to 80s, and the photography is Lisa Lau. And we have pieces of Yelapa historical and Prestology, pieces about the natives from here, from Yelapa.
Excellent. How long has this museum been here?
1 year, past like 1 year and 6 months.
So you've been here just a little time. That's interesting. So with this this COVID thing, were you closed for any amount of time?
Like 4 months. Mm-hmm.
But now you're open and you're ready for tourists, I imagine, yes?
Yes. We invite the tourists come to Yelapa, and the museum, the schedules are Monday to Saturday, 9 to 5.
And what is the admission fee?
50 pesos or $3.
Excellent. Okay, so you guys, if you're going to be in Yelapa, you got to get a little bit of history here. They've got some beautiful pictures on the wall, old pictures of Yelapa, and then they've got, I would say, archaeological kind of items too. From how old are some of these archaeological items?
Like 1,000 years?
Wow, so people have been living here a long time.
Yes.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much, Nanji. I thank you so much for coming on the show and talking with us. And we hope to be able to come visit you in the future. Everybody come on down and see Nanji over here at the Museum de Yelapa.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation, and we are very glad to see you. Yeah, thank you for welcome.
Thank you so much. All right, Nanji. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on the show and introducing us to the museum in Yelapa. And I have pictures for all of that stuff in the show notes. I got pictures of Romeo and Nanji, and I've got pictures of Mario. I have pictures of our trip up, as well as photos of Fanny's. Some great photos of Fanny's and of the beach right there. The waterfall, all kinds of great photos. Make sure you go and see them over at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. And now, my friends, you have no excuse not to get on a panga and get out on the water and visit these great places. You can visit Camixto, you can visit Yelapa, or Las Animas. Come on, just get out and enjoy and have a good time. Of course, I've got all kinds of links. Get over there and check them out. And maps, too. So that should do it for this week. Next week, stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with travel tips, great restaurant excursion ideas, and more. And until then, remember that this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and on your suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something that I should be talking about, please reach out to me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending us your message. And remember, if you are considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, you must go to vallartainfo.com, that's JR's website, and reserve your tour through him right from his website. Remember, this is a value for value proposition, my friends. His experience and on-the-ground knowledge of everything Puerto Vallarta in exchange for your making a purchase of a tour that you would do anyway. You're just doing it through him as a way of saying thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you were going to use someone else. So do it, really. And when you do take one of those tours, email me about your experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending us a message. And don't forget, he's got his maps, his DIY tours, his revitalized happy hour board, and more. And I have links to all of those in the show notes. And once again, if you like this podcast, please take the time and subscribe. Give me a good review on iTunes or wherever you happen to be listening to the show. Or tell a friend. It's a great way to get the word out to more people about the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And remember, I made it easy for you to do just that with every episode I created. But if you haven't been to my website, what's wrong with you? You gotta get there. Have a look. I have links to places that we talk about. I have interesting pictures and more right there in the blog posts and in the show notes for each episode of the show. So check them out for sure if you haven't already. All right? All right. So, hey, I want to thank Romeo. Tovar, thanks very much for coming on the show, telling us everything that you know about Yelapa. We really, really appreciate it. You've got a great restaurant. I've got links, I've got pictures that'll take you right over to Fanny's. Make sure you get on out there next time you go to Yelapa when you're in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. I want to thank all of you for listening all the way through this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler. I'm signing off with a wish for you to slow down, be kind, and live the Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
De Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar, samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de amor junto al mar. Solo camino eterno por la playa, me encuentro junto al río cuando todo está en calma. Pronto cae la noche, me brillas Puerto Vallarta.